Hello everyone, my name is Fadisti Alsa Putri and I'm from the class YP72B, and now I will present my midterm analysis titled Cost Sensitivity of Indonesian Consumers Toward E-Bikes, a Microeconomics Analysis in EV and Sustainable Transportation. This presentation will explore the consumer response to electric motorbikes, pricing, and what it means for the future of sustainable transport in Indonesia. Here is the outline of my presentation. I will begin with the background, objective, and research question, then discuss the market dynamics, supply and demand conditions, price sensitivity and elasticity, consumers' preference and decision making, stakeholder identification and positioning. After that, I will finish the conclusion and recommendation. First, Indonesia has over 162 million motorcycles and most of them use fossil fuels that contribute significantly to urban pollution. To initiate the net zero emissions in 2060, the government introduced a subsidy 7 million per unit for e-bikes. Despite the subsidy, e-bikes adoption remains low due to high costs, limited infrastructures, and strong ICE brand dominance. My research questions are: how does price elasticity influence electric motorcycle purchase decisions, and what macroeconomic factors hinder or facilitate adoptions? The objectives are: examines the key microeconomic factors influencing the slow adoption of e-bikes in Indonesia, with a focus on price sensitivity, long-term perceived costs, and consumer behavior, and the last, the effectiveness of government interventions. Now, let's talk about market dynamics and competitive landscape. The e-bikes operate in an oligopoly with few dominant players that only a few brands have market power. ICE bikes still lead due to lower price, brand loyalty, and better infrastructures. E-bikes brands struggle with trust, battery issues, and after-sales service. The firms of e-bikes act as price makers or price takers, adjusting strategies over time. Dynamics models show flexible firm behavior in a competitive evolving market. Now, let's talk about the supply and demand dynamics. On the supply side, production is still limited. Many local manufacturers use manual or semi-automated system, which slows down growth. Battery costs remain high and local R&D is still underdeveloped. This causes supply inelastic, meaning that they cannot quickly adjust when demand changes. On the demand side, adoption is still low. Demand is highly elastic. Small price change strongly affect interest. The most interest comes from the lower middle class, but barriers like charging infrastructure, range anxiety, and product performance reduce enthusiasm. Let's move to the price sensitivity and elasticity that I found a study by Murthy-Ningrum used the Van Westendorp price sensitivity method to analyze acceptable price range. For those earnings 2 until 6 million rupiah per month, the optimal price point is 18.3 million with a range between 12 and 22.5 million. As income increases, the sensitivity decreases. This means price remain a major constraint, especially for low-income consumers. It highlights the need for policies that address real affordability and purchasing power. In consumer preferences and decision making, Indonesian consumers focus on purchase price, not long-term savings. E-bikes save 12 until 18% in total cost of ownership. Adoption is limited by concerns about range, charging, and battery life. Consumer education and infrastructures are key to adoption. So in the right side, there is a figure that show EV adoption in Indonesia. The two-wheelers, there are 25,782 units, and four-wheelers and with the amount 7.679 units. And two-wheelers lead the EV transition due to affordability. In stakeholder identification and positioning, I categorize stakeholders based on power and interest. First, high interest, low power, that indicates end users and ride-hailing drivers. Second one, high interest, high power, such as investors, SOEs like PLN and business owners. Low interest, high power, such as government and banks, who set the rules and regulation. And the last, low interest, low power, such as the general public and uninvolved institutions. Effective engagement strategies are needed for each group, especially for high power stakeholders who influence policy and financing. Last but not least, there is a conclusion that show electric e-bikes are still fairly limited in Indonesia, with only around 0.13% of all motorcycles being electric. From a macroeconomics perspective, this low adoption rate reflects the strong price sensitivity of individual consumers. Many households compare the upfront cost of electric motorbikes, particularly battery prices and resale value, against the more familiar and often less expensive gas-powered alternatives. Even with a government subsidy of 7 million rupiah, many people still hesitate due to limited access to reliable information, unclear long-term savings, and a lack of nearby charging of battery swap stations. These factors reduce perceived utility and increase opportunity cost, leading consumers to delay or avoid making a switch. To shift household preferences, policies must go beyond subsidies and address consumer decision-making behavior. This includes improving infrastructures, reducing information gaps, and supporting local EV business to lower production costs. With the right macroeconomy, one that focuses on individual incentive, costs, and benefits, the government's goals of 13 million electric motorbikes in 2030 and net zero emission by 2060 can be pursued more effectively. That's conclude of my presentation. I hope this analysis provides valuable insight into the challenges and opportunities within Indonesia's EV transition from a micro perspective. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to your feedback.